If you're creating characters, there's only one way to create appropriate characters. You read the handbook, you follow the instructions, you use what's in it, and you leave it be. That's how appropriate characters are done for Dungeons and Dragons. It's in the book for a reason. If you want to use something outside of the book, stop. The book is there. Let's try that again. There are 5 things for every character that's being developed that you can really focus on to help flush it out for you as the player. If you haven't created a lot of characters, these are 5 things you may want to consider. Create based upon an archetype. Look at the types of, you can even call them stereotypes. The big brawler, the defending warrior, the intelligent arcane wizard. But you can change those archetypes. You can have the charismatic rogue or you can have the trickster rogue. There are different archetypes that you can put on your characters to give you a baseline. If you're struggling with creating characters, start with an archetype. Start with an overarching stereotype and build from there. You don't have to end there, but it's a great starting point. The second thing when building good characters is to look at the backstory, but add this after the backstory. My character's backstory is X, therefore. When a backstory is an and then, I was an acolyte and then I became an adventurer. Well, what? I was a soldier. Therefore, I have seen war and I don't want to see any more. I was a lone wolf ranger. Therefore, I decided to have a team because I was tired of being alone. It's the opposite of the lone wolf. If you use a therefore as opposed to an and then when it comes to your backstory, it gives depth. It's the reason that you're moving on. It allows your backstory to take a little bit more weight in your kind of your character creation than just being another side note. So something to consider. And your backstory, I was a soldier, therefore. I was a lone wolf, therefore. You'll be amazed what that does to how you feel about your character. The third thing, if you want your dungeon master to love you when creating characters, is align with the theme of the game. Align with the campaign. What are the goals of the campaign? What's happening in the world? What would make this character a driving force to the story that my DM is putting out in front of me? You want your dungeon master to love you, ask about the theme of the campaign. To actually come up and say, hey, my character was a soldier, therefore is pushing towards the clearing of all the demons in this area because he's seen the destruction it has, and it's a demon-based campaign, that's fantastic. It gives your character a reason to be on board in an alignment with the campaign. Now, being in alignment doesn't mean you're in agreement. You could be in a disagreement with the gods, with the overall forces that are out there. You could be in disagreement with the entire military structure, but you're in alignment with where the campaign is going. If you can align your character with a campaign, it's amazing what that does for storytelling and makes you feel like part of the story yourself. When creating a character, one of the fourth thing is personal growth. I know where I was. I know kind of where I'm going. But that personal growth is not for the better, and necessarily not for the evil either. Your personal growth is where your character is going. What did your backstory do for you? What is happening in the story now? And where are you going? Where are you being pushed through? Think about what's happening to your character from a growth standpoint. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be indifferent. But growth is what causes your character to move forward in the story, to be part of the story. So think about the growth of your character. Not only what happened in the past, but what's happening in the future as well. That personal growth will take you pretty far when it comes to character development. That's the ongoing story. Where do you want to go? What person does your character want to be? Do they even know? What do they want for themselves? Those are the questions you ask for personal growth. The fifth thing when it comes to storytelling and building a good character background is collaborating with your dungeon master. I talked a little bit about it when we were talking about your background and being in alignment with the campaign, but involve your dungeon master. When you're coming up with your backstory, ask about places and things and where they could have come from, where they could have been, what things that are in the campaign that could have influenced them. Take that storytelling to another level by incorporating yourself with what the dungeon master has to say. Just as much as the dungeon master story is collaborative storytelling with what you have to bring to the table, when your player is integrated into the campaign and some of the background that you may not know about this story, it's amazing the depth that it'll bring to your character and the questions that it can come up with you to have to ask. As a player, it may be that you have to ask questions about the locations, the places, the things. It may have an influence on you that you didn't expect. You can even ask that, hey, how would this have affected me based upon this area of your world? What would happen to me? It's amazing what happens when we make our storytelling collaborative. And so that is really some 5 major tips when it comes to creating characters. It's nothing new, but it gives you a little bit different of perspective. So if you like the channel and you want more Dungeons & Dragons content, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to the Wandering Dungeon Master, the Guildmaster's Guides. And right now we're going to be shooting in the gazebo because I shoot where I can. So we'll see you next time.